friends, and welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner, another .5 episode. I'm your host, as always, Cammy. Now, I know I was a little hungover on last Friday's episode, but fear not, I found out that the cure to a hangover is to drink more alcohol. So, it's a modern miracle in medicine and science, so I'm glad to be a part of this grand experiment of life. But moving on, let's get right into the Fast Five. From DC Comics, we have Battle for the Cowl #3, written and drawn by Mr. Tony Daniel. Now, this was an exquisite end to a nice little miniseries in the Batman universe. We had this whole scenario of who's the new Batman. Which one, is it Nightwing or Tim Drake who's going to be taking up the mantle? Who knows? Well, it turns out, I was right all along, it is Jason Todd. And I won some money off some people. I'm not going to brag, but I did. They thought it was John Paul Valley, the original Azrael. But anyway, you got a nice little connection with Nightwing looking for Robin, and turns out he finds Jason instead. Jason says, hey, I killed him, nothing you can do about it, you know, it's all fun and games. Meanwhile, Damian and Squire, who's quite the hottie I've noticed, by the way, are looking also. They've joined into the hunt, you know, Player 4 has entered the game. And they are also looking for this new Batman and what he's up to. Well, it ends in a big fight between Batman, a.k.a. Jason Todd, and Nightwing, a.k.a. Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson gives him the choice, like, hey, come join us, we can still save you. And Jason says, I'm going to live and fight another day. At the end of the issue, we find out that Tim Drake is, in fact, the new Batman. So, very, very good issue, very good miniseries, well worth the money if you want something to get R.I.P. and Final Crisis out of your mouth. Next up, from Image, we have Invincible #62. Now, from the last issue, this big Viltrumite conquest came, and he was going to battle against Mark. Mark's like, alright, let's do this. Well, that's what happens all issue. They're fighting. Mark is giving his all against this guy, and Conquest goes like, hey, that's good, you know, good, you know, just kind of cheering him on, kind of mocking him, because Conquest isn't going to die anytime soon, it seems. It seems that all the power Invincible has is just nothing to this guy. And so he just gives him a big old punch in the face. Even an Omniboy tries to join in and stop him, but he's an unstoppable force. And Cecil at the Pentagon is getting rather scared. And so he's trying to get the final phase of his newest science project, the Invincibles from the alternate dimensions. Remember those guys? Turns out they're being fitted to be the whole robot zombie craze that the other army was fitted with. So it's like, holy shit, Cecil, you sick bastard. No, I'm sorry. Robert Kirkman, you sick bastard. You had me on the edge of my seat once more. Next up, from WildStorm, we have Ex Machina #42. Now, Mitchell's 100 is stepping down as mayor, but now there's a new crisis on his hands, it seems. His old nemesis and evil villain, Fearsome, is up and at it again. As Mitchell 100 can control electricity and electronics, Fearson can control the animals, and it's him who's been plaguing New York with all these rats, and he says, kill them all. So, and all at the same time, Bradbury is trying to destroy the white box, which is classified, something that has to do with Mitchell 100, because the old fling Suzanne, who's also a reporter, is onto them, and really wants to know what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? So, as usual, very good issue. It's so sad to see that this title is eventually going to leave and stop. But, you know, all good things have to come to an end. Look at his other epic, Y the Last Man. Next up, from Marvel, we have Captain America #50. Now, the thing I really, really enjoyed about this issue, well, first of all, it's #50. That's a pretty landmark issue. So what do, you know, companies usually do? They make it some huge, action-packed, like, mind-blowing, like, some huge event that's going to go on. Well, not in this one. What Ed Brubaker does is focuses on Bucky, and more importantly, his previous birthdays that he used to have back in World War II, before they were crashed by guys like Masterman and, you know, other Nazis. But anyway, it's a good little birthday issue, because while he's remembering this, he's going up against the Watchdogs, which is this patriot group that says, hey, you're not really Captain America. And Bucky goes, I'm trying, people. All to come home to a nice little surprise party by the new Avengers. So I think maybe because my birthday was earlier this week that I could just really connect with this issue and connect on the previous birthdays that we all have and love and cherish. So it was a good issue. Now it's going to go on to number 600, and then you'll probably see the price go up to like $500 an issue because of all the back matter that they're going to throw into that sucker. Okay, maybe not 500, but maybe 5. And finally this week from DC, we have Final Crisis Aftermath Dance number 1. Now, of all the Final Crisis Aftermath titles so far, this is the only one that I've had fun with. Sure, Ink comes out next week, but I've never been a fan of the Tattooed Man, so I'm just like, okay, it's going to be another cannon fodder. Just put the $4 price tag on it and ship it out, people. But anyway, in Dance, we follow one of my new favorite teams, the Super Young Team. And the roll call is Most Excellent Superbat, Big Atomic Lantern Boy, Shiny Happy Aquazon, Shy Crazy Lolita Canary, and Well-Spoken Sonic Lightning Flash. All those names, quite the mouthful, but the costumes, the powers, that's what makes this issue fun. They get a new headquarters, a new base, kind of like the JLAs, only it's also in orbit, but they have a big dance party. All these promoters are coming out. They're like, want to make this huge event because this is what's going to sell. These new superheroes, let's not just focus on the Japan demographic, let's focus on all of the world because, even America likes superheroes, and with a young team like this, what's not to love? Let's throw them out there in the spotlight. Well, sure, they like this and everything, but they really want to get to their roots and start fighting again. Go fight crimes and whatnot. And sure enough, one happens right there on the spaceship. The concert promoter gets all hulked out, and they decide, hey, finally, look, a break in the action. Let's go take him down. So I had fun with this issue. I think the other issues should be as fun. So that's what I'm putting all my, I'm counting all my chickens before they hatch, as it were, and proclaiming right now that Final Crisis Aftermath Dance is going to be the only good Final Crisis Aftermath title. Well, comic book fans, that does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner, a .5 episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want more Cammy's Comic Corner goodness, head on over to www.cammyscomiccorner.com. And you can subscribe there to the RSS feed or on iTunes. And if I didn't review a book that you read and thought I should have reviewed this week, head on over to the review section while you're at the site. And you can see little reviews for every book that I read this week. And you can see if I liked it, didn't like it, etc. Also, if you like any of the kick-ass t-shirts that you see me wearing, head on over to www.deadlinegraphics.net and send Kelly an email. He has an entire catalog of different DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, etc. You name it, he can make it onto a t-shirt. There's only one name that I trust when it comes to comic book t-shirts, and that is Kelly, over at www.deadlinegraphics.net. And also, head on over to rsc-online.com. Rising Sun Creations is my very own comic book store that I go and get my comics at. And they specialize in collectibles imported straight from Japan, manga, and even US comic books. It's the best of both worlds in one store. Also, while you're at their site, check out their online store and see what interests you and what they can do for you today. Thanks again to Rising Sun Creations for being such a kick-ass sponsor, and be sure to go to rsc-online.com today. Well, comic book fans, that does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. Stupid cards. I am going to have a lot more episodes coming out this summer of just different, various episodes on various topics of comic interest. Now that summer's here, I'm done with school, I just have work to worry about some days. Expect a whole lot more. So check the RSS feed, check the iTunes, and check the YouTubes. Until then, this has been Cammy's Comic Corner, and I've been your host, Cammy. Can I get a amen?